What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Oh, what's up, brewskis?
Tonight, we have a special guest. We've been waiting to get this guy on the pod for a really long time. It's been our fault.
Yeah, it's been.
And we're just going to get into the episode. We're going to get into the beer. But before we can do all that, we'd like to introduce friend of the show, inventory manager at Red Light. So if you have a problem with what's there, talk to him. It's his fault.
Talk to me. Come see me.
Uh-huh.
I'll try not to get that beer in. We'll work it out. Yeah.
Steven Jonker. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I said that correctly, right, Steven?
Yes.
Steven, right? Steven? It's
Steven. Most people call me Steve, but yes.
I thought it was Yonkers for a really long time, like New York,
yeah.
and I was like, that's a bad.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I've seen all of the spellings. The teachers spelling it Y, adding S's on it forever.
Yeah.
There was managers for years that would just call me Yonkers, and I'd just be like, man, we've known each other for 7 years. It's time to put the kibosh on this. I don't know how to approach this conversation at this point. It's super weird, but it's Yonker. And,
Yonker.
Soft J, like yogging, if you will.
Yogging.
Yogging.
No, wait.
Yeah.
V or PH?
V.
There you go. So
There you are.
Tonight's brew is from Jester King, and I'm not even going to try to explain this beer. So let's get into the show. We'll do the cold read, and I'll have you give us the full rundown of this beer because you brought it back special for the show. So let's do that. Without further ado, this is episode 345. Do you have something to pop it open? There you go.
Yeah, do the honors.
Of the One Beer In podcast. Yeah, there you go.
Love to see it.
No spillage.
To be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me
This is
to
back
a
in
place where
August, and met up with my buddy. He picked me up from the airport. First off, my flight was delayed, as all flights are, by
Beautiful.
3 hours. I got to the airport at what was supposed to be 6 o'clock for an 8 o'clock flight. And as I got there for 6, they were like, your flight's not taking off till noon.
Oh.
And I was like, sick, bro. I'm going to sit here forever. So sit there forever. And it's on the bad side of Orlando's airport where they don't have Starbucks. So they've got a Cuban cafe where they serve the worst coffee ever. It's just battery acid.
Yeah, it's Zaza's.
It's Zaza's.
But it's like this piece of shit version
Of course.
of Zaza's.
Yeah,
It's an airport Zaza.
3 people there, and they're like,
And they're yelling at you. They're like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "I've got to go. I'm sorry. Give me
It's
my
Steven
coffee."
with a V.
Yeah. So get there, get coffee, wait for the flight. Long day. Finally get to Austin, Texas. My buddy is picking me up. A longtime friend who I've grown up in the military with, and this dude has had a troubled past, so he's like, I'll drive you all around Austin, but I'm not drinking because I can't drink and drive. And I was like, word, cool. So got some red light beers in tow with me, dropping them off at different breweries. We're stopping here. I think we stopped at Batch Brewery at first when I landed. No, sorry, back that up. We stopped at Live Oak, which was right down the street from the airport. Live Oak is a pretty big brewery in Texas, and they've got beer kind of distributed. Like, they've got beer at the airport, for instance, and they've got beer pretty parsed out across Florida. Making some incredible lagers, a really decent Hefeweizen, very German-inspired. Pretty awesome time. Huge tap room, huge brewery. It was a Thursday when I was flying in, and I feel like COVID was still kind of a thing, so like things were a little shut down. But we had a couple beers there, grabbed some couple things, went to Batch. Have you guys ever heard of kolaches?
Kolaches? No.
Kolaches?
It's my ex-girlfriend's name.
Well,
Is
not
it?
quite. But kolaches is like if I'm remembering correctly, is like a Polish pastry. It's like stuffed. Kind of reminds me of like
my
a stuffed
girlfriend.
croissant. Exactly like a girlfriend. What girlfriend? Yes. Anyways, so we got like a kolache, a couple beers there. They had this real cool lager there. Was made with corn tortillas rather than like a corn mash, which was pretty interesting.
Interesting.
But really solid. And from there, we went to Terry Black's, got some barbecue, famous Terry Black's. Solid brisket if you're ever in Texas. And then we stopped at Jester King. Jester King is on this huge sprawling farm. They've got a goat pasture out there. They grow their own grapes to make their own wine. Huge barn that has been converted into a brew house. But everything is at the time was outside seating, so it's like you're in this covered area with like picnic tables and whatnot, and you kind of make a reservation to go there. It's still COVID time, so that's just kind of how they were running it. They'd make pizzas and whatnot. Their beers are not cheap, and when I went there, I was like, I'm gonna drop some coin here. It's cool, whatever. So I bought a bunch of beers for me and my buddy to share, a bunch of beers for me to take home, and a beer for this podcast. And we drank a couple things. I drank a couple things. He stared at me while I was drinking, and I was like, "This is awkward."
Made eye contact.
Yeah. I was like, "Are you sure you don't want a beer?" And he's like, "I can't." So we just stared at each other's eyes, and I'm like, "It's good to see you, bro." So dropped off our red light beers, went and picked out a bunch of stuff, and then I got just the tab for the to-go beers, and they were like, "That's $300," and I was like, "What? I've got like half a case here." And then I was like, "There's like $300," and I was like, "All right, man. Well, here's my credit card. Like, let's make this shit happen." And then I get out and I'm like looking at the receipt, and this bottle right here was like $75.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was part of their vintage program, which is cool. So this is a 2018 Color 5. Not like throwing shade or whatnot, but I don't know how much their markup for their vintage goes, but I was quite strucken by the price of the beer. But
You were strucken.
yeah,
Strucken.
I hopefully it tastes as good as much as it costs. So
All right.
yeah,
Well, I can't think of a better way to
quite
introduce
the journey. But who's doing the cold read?
Shall
on this
I
one?
cold read?
Yeah, do it. I'm
Get
in.
into it.
Well, as Steve said, this is the Color 5. It is from March 2018, hence it being vintage. It's a barrel-aged beer, re-fermented
Kind of.
with blueberries. ABV is 6.5%. Cold read is as follows. Texas blueberries were added to mature. Barrel-aged sour beer and re-fermented to dryness. Unfiltered, unpasteurized, and 100% bottle conditioned. Jester King Brewery, Austin, Texas.
There you go. Let's clink these bad boys. And
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Quite elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Almost wine-like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not too sour, not too much bacteria in there.
Yeah.
A lot of oak coming through on the finish.
All right.
Lacing is nice.
Keep it all in your head. Save it. Reviews at the end. But try to
Absorb.
remember these things.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Mental note.
Well, as I said, this is the One Beer and Podcast. The podcast where two brews, sometimes three, crack open a brew, sometimes more than that, and we see where that one brew takes us. This is episode 345.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Thank you guys for listening and liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. What we have on tap so much. So let's just get rock and rolling into it. The first things first. We both, all of us, all three of us, have just recently watched The Batman. We finally, Matt Reeves' Batman has been gestating for, I don't know, I mean, years at this point. That one trailer,
yeah, for sure.
the first trailer that came out with that was like a year ago, like
they released it as a like they were like everyone's locked down in their houses right now. COVID's a real thing. Like, here's this to hold you over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was like I don't know the next time I'm going to the movies, but at least I've got this trailer to hold on to.
all it was a cock tease. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And it was, thought it was going to be part of the. Wasn't it originally part of the Warner Brothers movies that was going to be on HBO Max?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then
They may have moved it off.
they were looking at how how the society was going. They were like, no, we need to make money off of this thing. So we're gonna obviously talk about that. Maybe we'll just call this a mini one reel in. I don't know.
Okay.
And then the trailer for the new Obi-Wan Kenobi limited Disney Plus series finally dropped. We have to talk about that. I don't know. You gotta show the people your arms.
My arm.
Yeah.
You. Dragon Ball Z, yeah.
Yeah, that's relevant.
Yeah. Mandalorian, yeah. We're getting there.
We'll get there. And then, last but not least, I forgot. What was the last thing I said?
It's a
question
your thing. For the ages.
All right. So we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So
I finally remember the question. Yes.
Yeah.
And I got a follow-up question for the question of the ages. So.
Okay.
So, I mean, fuck it. Let's just get right into the movie.
Who is Matt Reeves?
Who is Matt Reeves?
I am Matt Reeves.
Any of you guys know?
Yeah.
What has he done before the Bat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually looked into it last night because I was like,
directed Cloverfield.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
did not know that. Yeah.
Yep.
Cloverfield.
Okay, that makes the things are coming in picture for sure.
Yep.
And
Cloverfield.
the second and third Planet of the Apes movies.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, and he directed Let Me In, the vampire movie. I don't know if you ever saw
Yeah,
it.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
The remake.
Let the right one in, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Less
With,
good than the
Chloe,
original, but yeah.
Chloe Mintz, whatever her name is.
Grace or whatever.
Mintz,
Yeah.
Platz?
Yeah.
Christopher
Christopher Platz.
Platz
Yeah.
Mintz.
Platz
Yeah.
Mintz. Yeah.
Christopher
He was
Chloe
in
Mintz
Guardians of
Platz.
the Galaxy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, good track record. Not the kind of track record that you would go, yeah, this is the guy to do the new Batman movie.
I would say I could see where like the dark and gritty comes from a little bit, but yeah. Like not the. I wouldn't say Batman was on the next on the docket for him, but
Yeah. But I saw a tweet from 2018 that apparently he was supposed to do the Ben Affleck movie, the Batfleck movie, and then Ben Affleck dropped out, and then Matt Reeves went back in and rewrote the movie because people were like, he wrote his version of the movie. He wrote for Robert Pattinson. He had him in mind when he was writing the movie.
Could you imagine that? I'm
What?
writing a movie for Robin Pattinson right now. His skin sparkles. I'm just going for it.
He's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
Great chin.
yeah, that's the only thing that mattered in the casting. He's just looking at chin photos.
There's 2 pages of introductory script that's just about his chin.
Just chin.
It's beautiful, chiseled.
So, people were like, how was he... How did he write this movie with Pattinson in mind if he was attached to the Ben Affleck movie? And then people brought up receipts and stuff, but it was like, yeah, he dropped out, then came back in and rewrote the movie, which is also kind of awesome when you think about they had a movie in mind, they had the guy attached, and, you know, Ben Affleck is obviously, you know, his characterization is...
It's completely different.
Yeah. So it's a completely different movie.
Had to
If
be,
you
yeah.
if you think about like what he must have had in mind or what he was told he was going to be doing, versus what he was allowed to do,
Right.
or I guess forced to do, once they lost their star.
Mm-hmm.
So completely changes the whole thing. Kind of makes me interested in what Matt Reeves would have done
With that flick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but be that as it may, that is not the case. So it doesn't even fucking matter. But I mean, first impressions. Walking out of the theater, first thing that comes to your mind when you're walking out.
I was like, finally they made the Batman movie that my childhood comics made me want or expect out of a film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't overly campy, also wasn't playing it too safe. Like it was felt like it was nailed it out of the park for me.
Yeah.
So
Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is the first time they really nailed the fear element of Batman. They do it so early on that it was just such a good first impression.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like a perfect little encapsulation of that element of Batman to me. That first introductory kind of portion of us seeing all the criminals being afraid of the shadows at night.
Yeah.
And just being placed in that world. It was so good at like establishing the 2 years that we haven't seen of, Batman Year One and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I really like the detail of not just them looking up and being like, "Oh no, Batman's out somewhere."
Right.
But like actually them being afraid of the dark.
Yeah, he could be anywhere.
Yeah.
yeah, I like the shots of the long drawn shadows for moments. Like they could have cut away, but they just like held there for what felt like minutes. I'm sure it was seconds, but
Yeah.
it was like, is he gonna come out of there? And sometimes he didn't, and that
Right.
was like extremely special. So
Yeah.
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 Yep.
I felt a lot like, or I felt that this movie was a lot like the tone that is set with the animated series. Gothic, but still kind of silly, but like it plays the silliness so straight that it works in the confines of the movie. Because I mean, just the idea of Batman is just silly on its face. The whole thing is silly. But when you... It takes like a deft hand to write it in a way that, acknowledges or embraces the silliness while also, playing it super straight.
Yeah.
That it doesn't come off cringe. It's like, we're all in this together.
I think what you have to accept, which I did pretty early on in this movie, is that it is at its heart a noir.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much detective noir like staples within the dialogue and the characters, the mobsters, all this stuff like that can seem really cheesy on face value, but or like the gravelly faced or voiced detective as Batman, like you put all those pieces together and suddenly I was like, oh, that's the genre that we're going for now.
Right.
It's not an action movie. It's not necessarily a superhero movie, though it is, but I think it's most rooted in a hard-boiled detective story.
Yeah.
And once I clicked on that track, I was on board.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I get the vibes.
Catwoman just comes to his office. It just says Batman on the door. He's just like with his boots on the fucking table. Just
Old gumshoe.
all right. I don't. Do we just go through like highlights each character or just like?
If you're taking over my segment,
Well, you're right,
You can
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead and do that
Sorry,
if you
do
really
your
want
thing.
to.
You do your thing. Sorry.
Since this is a mini
Oh,
version of
just
One
letting
Reel
go.
in Review, let's not go through the entire plot synopsis as we usually do. That takes up far too much time, just like the Batman does. But instead, let's talk. We've already talked a bit about what we like. Maybe, let's talk about what, if we are excited for a potential sequel, and then we can get into maybe something on more of the negative side of the movie that we didn't jive with as much.
Yeah. I guess we should give a spoiler warning now,
Sure,
because there's no way to talk about a
yeah.
potential
Spoiler
sequel.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I mean, it's set up perfectly for this to last, like, as long as they're physically capable of making these movies. You know, like as long as Robert Pattinson wants to be the Batman,
Right.
the way that it's written, because he still looks youthful enough that you believe that. I mean, he's supposed to be like what, 24, 25.
It's like year 2.
Yeah.
For Batman.
Yeah.
So the movies could age with him pretty gracefully if
Sure.
they so choose to do that. Like, he could be old, grizzled, broken down Batman and be like, you know, Robert Pattinson at like age 50, you know.
Mhm.
That it could work. So I'm excited about that because we
We haven't really had that.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really had that.
They've all. I mean, even in Batman, The Dark Knight Rises.
Christian Bale's still pretty old in there. He's like,
Well-
what are you, 30? Yeah, 30
But that-
right now. Like he's older than you in that movie.
Yeah.
Is how far could you have gone with that? Even in The Dark Knight Rises is like he's feeling pretty old and tired for Batman. He's not Robert Pattinson, like sprightly
No.
young second year Batman age. Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, The Dark Knight Rises, it's kind of hard to pinpoint how old he's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because the doctor is like,
You have no cartilage left.
yeah. And then he's got like the gray in his beard and stuff, and he's walking around with the cane, and that's obviously to kind of play up the fact that he's like a recluse and, you know, all that stuff. But then he does the thing on his knee, and then now he has super knees apparently,
Yeah,
like
the brace.
kicking bricks and shit.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of back to how he was. And he loses the first fight to Bane, not because of like his physical disparities, but because of like his mental disparities. Like he's the whole thing about like you fight like a younger man, and like you don't care about you don't care about your own life. Like you fight like you're ready to die already. Like he'd already given up on life and all that stuff, and that's why he didn't have the spirit to fight. But it wasn't like a physical thing.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was weird with The Dark Knight Rises. I was like, how was he supposed to, is he 38, 48, 58?
I mean, will we ever know?
No.
I doubt
Yeah,
it.
No. Well, because he
he
survived.
could have been 70 in my mind, man. Like, he's old as shit.
Yeah, he might as well be.
Yeah.
He's got his whole life ahead of him, though. It's so weird. Like, that movie takes place, or the series, rather, takes place over 8 years,
Yeah.
right? So, how old was he supposed to be in bed? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This is a highly speculative show.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
it
It kind of reminds me of what you're talking about is like what they did with Spider-Man, with Tom Holland. You know, like they got him so young that they can now make this franchise like go on forever.
yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps that he looks so young.
Sure.
Because he was supposed to be...
He still looks so young.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. He's aging, and I'm like, what? Like,
No.
yeah, that dude's still in high school, bro.
You're still
No.
17, man.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he could still pull that off. I mean, he's probably got another couple of years left before he can't pull that off anymore, but right now, he's fully believable as like 18, 19.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it
I feel like he could be like 35, and I'd be like, that dude's still in senior year of high
You
school.
can't drink, man. Get out of here.
You got sticky hands that smell like cabbage, man. Get out of here.
I don't trust it.
So, what else are we?
So Robert Pattinson, he's gonna last for a minute. You think he's gonna go on for a couple sequels? Hopefully.
I think so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too. Like, I feel like they could really go somewhere with this. Let me ask you guys this though. Like, I feel like I get that DC really wants to build a interconnected world around their series, kind of like Marvel has, but this is one of the few times that I'm like, with the having seen like the animated Batman show as well as like read the comics as growing up, and like I kind of want them to like leave this Batman world untouched. I feel like they nailed it so well that I'm like, let them really grow this world to be its own thing
Yeah.
without having to be like Superman's over here in Metropolis or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, like I don't need that right now. Like I want to see all of what Gotham has to share right now.
Yeah, I agree. I vaguely remember Matt Reeves in an interview saying, because somebody asked, like, well, what do you think about Superman in your universe?
Yeah.
How would you deal with that? And he goes, I don't want to think about Superman in my universe. So I think he's of the same mind and just focused on exploring this universe and just Batman and his story and those characters, because there's so much. Like, think about how many characters there are to explore within Batman alone.
Yeah.
It's a rich universe for sure.
Super
yeah.
rich.
The potential for the Batman universe has gone largely untapped because they just can't help themselves. Whoever is helming those movies just has to do the same guys over and over again.
Yeah, it's like we get the Joker, we get the Riddler. Like, man, I feel like I've been waiting forever. Like, watching the animated series growing up, like Clayface. Like
I
that was
was
like
just gonna say that.
Like Clayface was a huge villain for me, and I'm like, we have not gotten that film yet.
Yeah.
I don't know how they'll accomplish that because like it's like a little bit of like fantasy meets like mobster, but I'm ready, man. Like, let's make it happen. Or even like what is it, Crocodile or whatever his name is,
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc, yeah. Like, let's go for it, man. Let's shoot for the stars. on
Calendar
this one.
Man.
Yeah.
Zaz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff that they could do that they largely just are like
we're missing Mr. Freeze too.
Mr.
Like,
Freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah. And even if they brought Arnold Schwarzenegger
Chill
back
out.
for that, like I would not be that angry.
Chill.
Yeah.
Chill. Yeah, so they have a lot of potential, and we say that, and yet they teased the Joker in the end, and you're like,
Yeah,
on, man.
they have to. I mean, they have to, because that's like the biggest villain of all is Superman. Or it's not Superman. Sorry, Batman. Like they have to set the groundwork for that, even if they're gonna move away from that eventually.
I hope that what they do with it is leave him in Arkham for a while, and like let him be kind of like a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing, where he's maybe he needs to visit like this rogues gallery to like, I don't know. However, well, first of all, we talked about this a little bit after the move after we got out, but how can you ramp up what the Joker can do versus what the Riddler already did in his first movie? I mean, he destroyed the shoreline of the city, like it flooded and killed countless people. He killed the police chief. He killed the commissioner. He killed the mayor. He killed
DA.
the DA. I mean, and these were all like character types, archetypes, or whatever that got killed in the Dark Knight. So I'm just wondering, like, where do you even go? If you introduce the Joker, who does he even kill at this point? It's like, damn, you done killed everybody.
You did it already.
There's nobody else to off. Like, what am I supposed to do here?
I think in my opinion, the only thing they can really do is, maybe not the only thing, but the thing I can imagine them doing is maybe, because at the end, again, spoiler warning, Batman is realizing he needs to stand for more than just vengeance, right? He's sort of in this place of wanting to be a beacon of hope in a way for Gotham and rebuilding. Maybe Joker can kind of pervert that vision and make him out to be a villain.
But that's the plot of the Dark Knight.
Well,
You can only make so many movies.
But that's what I'm saying.
How many movies does Hollywood really have to offer?
But then you don't have to use him. You don't have to paint. You don't have to write yourself into that corner if you don't use the character.
I mean,
Clayface is a perfect, like.
What if the movie plot is like this? Like, Joker's in there doing nefarious shit, and then Mr. Freeze comes and frees him and shatters him immediately. It's just like, Joker's gone, sorry.
That's it, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Good tease.
Yeah.
I actually kind of would like that.
Yeah.
If the first like 10 minutes of the movie, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a Joker movie, and he just comes in and chill. And it just hits him with a hammer, and he just shatters. Yeah. I would enjoy that immensely. You just there's so much potential.
I'm sure they have that all 5 to 7 years mapped out. Like we have no idea what's going on, but at the end of the day, it was really refreshing to just see a cool take on Batman that hasn't really been done. Like I don't know, I know that a lot of people love the Tim Burton movies, and that's cool. It was never really my vibe. Like it was just too overly top for me, too campy, and it was cool for what it was. Like it definitely had that kind of comic book feel, but I thought this movie was as you said, really took the darkness and the fear kind of element up a notch, and without really holding back. It didn't feel like they were placating to we need to sell this to all the people.
Yeah.
It was you like Batman? Cool, this movie's for you. If not, you're in the wrong theater right now.
Yeah.
That's what this movie felt like, and I feel like we're kind of seeing that more and more a little bit in kind of Hollywood and just in general. Even with even if we want to segue into Star Wars a little bit, I think that's a lot what they're kind of going for in Star Wars. Is just if you like Star Wars, cool. We're not trying to make movies for everybody anymore. There's too much content to be made. Content's getting cheaper and cheaper to be made.
Sure.
So we got to make things for the fan bases who want to watch. Otherwise, what do we have? Because if we don't have a solid fan base, we don't have anything anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. They're there's so much content being made at this point. It's you literally you can't make a thing for everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people now. There's too many ways.
How many shows are on Netflix right now? You can go every week 100 shows are put on Netflix, and some not even in languages that we know. It's put the subtitles on, and it can be an incredible show. Squid Game was a great example of that. It's
Sure.
This is all in Korean, and it's a fantastic show. Just so much content. It's how do we parse through it? So unless we have an incredible fan base, you can't placate anymore. Not like they did in the early 2000s and 90s. It's just not that way anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which kind of goes back to one of the criticisms of the Book of Boba was that it kind of just you get into this character, and if you don't have all the context for the character, you're lost a little bit with his characterization, right? But it kind of speaks to your point that they're this is for people who give a shit. If you're just jumping in late and you're I'm just going to watch it because everybody's watching it and it's the flavor of the week, and then you're lost because you haven't been watching all the stuff, it's kind of
it's your job
more of the stuff.
I was going to say, it's your job to catch up these days. It's if you like this, catch up. Otherwise, go watch the other 100,000 shows that are out there.
That's the Marvel stance too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
people with their don't spoil the show, man. And it's hey, man, listen. You know how many shows are coming out? People want to talk about the stuff and then move on. I get the moratorium on week of or day of rather, but if it's been a week and you're still I'm still on episode 3, man, it's look, dude, this shit is moving, bro.
Yeah.
This shit is moving. You can't. I'm not gonna not talk about a thing because you're not keeping
board,
up
yeah.
and catching up. That's
sure.
your problem.
Yeah.
So content, man, it's it's too much stuff. How am I supposed to remember what episode you're fucking on?
Well, the interesting thing about all this is the way that TV and has gone is it's all streaming services, and I feel it's gonna eventually break down even more to it's not just Netflix and Amazon Prime. It's you like this specific producer, or sign up for his $20 or $15 a month program or whatever, and you get whatever curations that he's kind of made or whatnot.
Man, that would be as long as that doesn't take over anything else. As long as that's just an extra option.
Yeah.
So that would be a nightmare.
It would be a nightmare. That was going to be my follow up to this is right now I feel like we're living in the golden age of like, man, they're making content for fans right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, when is this going to go overboard? Where it's like, all right, well, we can't keep up anymore. Like, there's just too much content, and it's too hyper specific, and I got to check out of so much things. Like now, I like 3 things again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I come to talk to you and like, did you see the 3 things that I like? And you're like, nah, man, I watched the 3 things I like. And I'm like, did you see those? And you're like, nah, I didn't watch those either. And now none of us are talking about the same shit anymore because it's,
we're kind of there, man.
we're almost there. It's very, very, very close.
I feel like no matter what, though, no matter how many options there are, something is always going to rise to the top, though, just like Squid Game did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if we have endless options, there's going to be something in the zeitgeist.
The shock value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something's going to catch on. Twitter's going to start talking about it. And
Well, yeah,
everyone's going to watch.
Euphoria and Succession are a good example of
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that these were 2 shows that people were even talking about, and then no one could shut up about them while they were on.
Yeah.
Like, I knew
Yeah.
Euphoria was like a show in the zeitgeist, but like this most latest season, it was like, I mean,
It was
I
out of
swear to
control,
God, dude,
man. It
I
was out of
swear
control.
to God, my entire feed was filled with it. If it wasn't my actual friends talking about it, I was getting related tweets to it,
Yeah.
people liking tweets from it, and then like getting
Twitter-
more related content.
Yeah.
Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but Twitter changed their algorithm, man. Because like it was the same thing for Book of Boba for me. Like I liked one Star Wars tweet, and all of a sudden, like if it was not a friend's tweet, it was all Star Wars tweets. To the point where I was like, I woke up the morning of the episode coming out. Like it came out at 3 o'clock or whatever our time.
Yeah.
And I would just open Twitter and I'd be like, that's a spoiler right
Yeah,
there.
people already talking
it's
about it.
already a spoiler. And I'm just like, cool. I can't look at Twitter at all because it can't be trusted day of things coming out.
Yeah, I got some stuff spoiled for me too.
Batman almost got that way for me too, like because I liked like one Batman tweet and it was just it's crazy, man. It's
I got the the plot point of a character being introduced at the end spoiled, but I didn't
of Batman or Star Wars.
Batman. I didn't know it. Whatever these people were talking about on Twitter, they didn't reveal who it was, but they did reveal that like the end credit sequence, or not the end credit sequence,
close to the end credit.
yeah, was a
Final
teaser of a
scene.
new character,
Yeah.
and I was hoping that it was Two-Face actually, and it wasn't. So
I thought it was from what I saw, but then upon further reading, I was like, that's not what it was.
no,
Yeah.
no,
I
it's
had-
actually like he's actually like for real the Joker. Like
Yeah.
Matt Reeves already
It's been
confirmed it and
confirmed,
everything.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actors already come out and talked about it.
Yep.
They got a good actor to do it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that dude was in that show. Man, now I'm gonna draw a blank on it. Peaky Blinders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he in Peaky Blinders?
I think he was. I think he was like the young kid in Peaky Blinders.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm fucking it up. I'll read in the comments later. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you will.
Nah, I won't.
No, don't read the comments.
I'm not gonna. That's the trick.
Yeah.
That's the easy part. Yeah, I had the contact lens recording ruined for me. I didn't know that was an element, and
That was a cool element.
How was
they
that
had.
spoiled?
Somebody said, like my face when I realized Batman wasn't like walking slow to look cool. He was doing it to record
Yeah,
everything. And I was like, oh, okay.
It was a cool 2022 moment when I was like, oh yeah, like contact lenses could possibly record things. Like 10 years ago, I've been like, okay, come on, yeah.
Just
And
more
now-
bat tech.
Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, nowadays I'm like, definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't know what's out there anymore.
Not
like,
out of the realm. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a tweet that was like, one of the main criticisms of Nolan's Batman was that Nolan tried so hard to justify Batman's existence in the real world, versus this Batman doesn't have to. It just is. Like, he's just so quickly and so I guess accurately and well done, like just morphed into like this world. It's built so. It's so believable. It's such a believable world that they build, and Batman's in it, and like you were saying, like the way that the way that people react around him, you really like kind of believe it. Versus like after a while in The Dark Knight, it's just kind of like it's fucking Batman.
Hey, Batman!
Hey, fucking Batman.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite depictions of Gotham.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
man. Well, because like Gotham in The Dark Knight was like, yeah, Chicago. Yeah. It's like this is actually
Chicago. It's just
this is actually Gotham. Like
Gotham,
you could
Chicago,
tell, like
Illinois.
they were walking up to real buildings, but like everything had been kind of painted in the background. But like I felt like it was for the better.
Yeah.
In this like kind of rare instance, like it was it really kind of built the city a little bit. So
yeah. Actually, like Batman Begins actually felt like they were doing like a more
they were trying.
comic book thing, like with the train going through and like the
yeah.
way that the city kind of looked in certain wide frames. And then Dark Knight, they
They
were
were
like, it's Chicago.
Yeah, well, they were.
That was
I felt
it.
like in the Batman Begins, they were definitely trying to do that, but it was like it fell a little flat. Like it
Yeah.
was a little stuffy. They couldn't quite figure out how to make the city feel like a city. It was just like here's some buildings in the background.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was like the first time it was like where it was like not so stuffy. It was like there was like certain scenes where they're like. You're kind of away from the city, but then you're in the city in other scenes, and it's just like I felt like like they were kind of moving around a huge area rather than just like we're right near the subway and it's loud. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like yeah,
We went to Winter Park Regal,
yeah,
and we did the IMAX
RPX.
RPX.
Yeah, dude.
yeah.
At first, and when he told me he bought that ticket, I was like, "Yo, how much was the fucking ticket, man? Why? Just
Yeah.
but,
I was
dude,
gonna buy you that same ticket that day. Yeah, yeah. The butt kicker, dude,
Oh
is
my god! Oh
yeah.
my goodness!
So I saw
gracious.
Dune in that theater, and
Oh.
like every time they did the the Benny Gesserit
The
voice, the voice, I was like, oh my god, what is happening right now? Like it scared me every time because of the butt kickers. Yeah, man, it's a little annoying in some parts, but like for the most part, it's like it's pretty immersive.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
a part
Oof.
where the
Speaking of which,
the
Like-
camera's like kind of panning down, and a train goes by, and it goes across the seat, but it went across the seat like almost like the back of the seat, like in the same area where the train was relative to the framing. I was like, whose job was it to do this? Because this is
my
good.
ass is not tingling enough. Move the train a little bit forward. Yeah. Should we talk about the Batmobile though?
Yes.
Oh, we have to.
So, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, big thumbs up for me.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Big
I thought it
thumbs
was
up.
incredible.
I love
I
it.
felt like from the trailer originally, I was like, man, this Batmobile looks kind of whack. But then that scene where it was like charging up, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm in now. Like,
Yeah.
this is good shit.
Oh, not
It's
to
all
mention,
just so
yeah.
angry.
you can
Yeah.
see it like slowly coming together in the background.
Mhm.
Like you see the engine just sitting there for a while, and you're like, I think that's going to be put in the Batmobile.
Yeah.
And then you see it charge up the like jet engine in the back.
Mhm.
Incredible.
But
Loved
people
it.
were so fucking annoying when there was like pictures that come out like I don't know 8-9 months ago, set photos of Robert Pattinson in the bat suit and like him on the motorcycle and stuff. People are like, it looks like shit. I can't believe this. What is that suit? Blah blah blah. And I was like, this looks awesome, man. This finally looks like a guy who like found some combat boots,
Hockey pads.
and like he finally looked like a dude who actually put the suit together. Like, all respect to Nolan's Batman, they justify it well enough with Lucius Fox and like all of the tech and stuff. But really, Lucius just takes him into a basement and is like, "Here's the suit," and he just spray paints it black, and then there it
He's
is.
like, all your money bought this. What can we do with it?
Right,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of like it's kind of a cop out. It's just kind of a cop out that they're like, we don't have time to go into the suit, so he has a basement with all the
Full of
tech
toys.
ready to go. Now pick and be Batman.
Right.
It's almost like anybody could have just walked in there and been like, well, I mean, I've got the suit right here, the fucking tank's right over there, the batarangs come off the suit that they're already attached.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? Learn martial arts?
Did you guys see the thing where everyone was speculating the bat sign in Robert Pattinson's suit was the gun that shot his parents?
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that.
And then he used it was his batarang the whole time. Like, come on, that was so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's part of like the silliness though.
Yeah.
That like is played so straight that you don't even think about it till later. You're like, yeah, he did pull the batarang off his chest, or he had it already in his hand, cuts the thing, and then you're like, what? It's part of it's the
useful, I
insignia.
guess.
of
I
his
actually
chest.
was like looking the whole time when he fell in the water. I was like, spoiler alert. Yeah, he like cuts the thing and he falls, right? And I was like, is he gonna pop up from the water with that in there? And it wasn't. I was like, nice. He just dropped it. It was fine.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was gonna be in there. I was like, come on. He fell fucking 40 feet or whatever it was, and he was just like, put this back.
Priorities.
Swag first.
He's
Yeah.
only got the one.
Yeah.
You know,
He lost it.
and that's
It's not there.
He's
It's
gonna
not
have
there.
He's gonna have to chisel another one.
Yeah. I guess
So.
his parents are gonna have to get shot a second time.
There's only so many guns in that
There's
city.
only so many parents.
Just the two.
He just keeps buying more.
Yeah.
You're not my
Mom,
dad.
Dad.
Oh yeah, I hated that shit.
All right, let's get into the things we didn't like.
Perfect segue.
Yes.
I really didn't like some of the dialogue. Like I said, I'm okay with like the cheesiness and the silliness kind of being played straight, but there's some stuff that I was just like really kind of taken out of the movie. Like that scene where he has two interactions with Alfred. One where he just gets in his shit and he's just like, "You're not my real dad," and just fucking storms off, and you're like, "Come on, dude."
All his scenes with Alfred were super weird, man.
Yeah.
So
He was
weird.
so mean to him.
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
to him. And then the second scene, he's like, "I love you," and you're just like, he runs on two emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the dialogue, some of the stuff that they want you to just buy is a little like, Paul Dano hams it up a little bit. I thought he was a great Riddler, but I think he hams it up a bit.
Yeah, but that's like Paul Dano's shtick, though.
Sure.
Like everything that Paul Dano is he does that high voice.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's every single time.
Yeah.
Like it. Yeah,
Dano.
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 Paul
I
Dano.
always said Dano, but I've heard Dano recently. I don't know what's real.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Italians. What are you gonna say?
Paul, that guy.
Paul, that guy.
Yeah.
Paul Donatos.
Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I could. I will.
Love Paul Giamatti. Love him.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a little hammy,
A little hammy.
Little hammy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
A little hammy.
and that's obviously stuff that you can kind of nail down and hone in on, and especially if they're going to continue to be
Can
noir movies.
I bring up something like I was a little confused, but I liked it, but I still don't know how it plays out. It was when Batman met Riddler in Arkham Asylum, which for some reason we have to assume that it was not a recorded conversation, and Riddler's like, "We did this."
Yeah.
The cops are like, not gonna look into that. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was
Paul
really
Dano's
weird,
like,
too.
"We did this," and he's like, "We didn't do this." And he's like, "We did this."
Yeah, but wasn't he looking? Didn't we cross cut to a camera on? At
Yeah,
that time?
no, we
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
know that
Yeah, yeah.
the
We know it's being
conversation's being
recorded,
recorded.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's why he's concerned about the Bruce thing.
Yeah.
Right. He's sweating.
Yeah, but I feel like they were playing that up more than it was like the fact that we did this. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
Right.
Like they're just never gonna look into
Well,
this
because
again
there's
because
there's cops
they're-
that want to nail him for
Yeah.
that, so
Yeah.
it's like that's all they need is the guy who
Right.
already confessed being like, we did
That's
this.
why he's like, "Shut
we
up!"
did this.
Yeah, and that doesn't look good either. He's
Yeah.
like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about?
Like, where's
Hey,
the
stop."
trigger? Where's the trigger?
Yeah. They there's definitely a blind spot. I don't know if you call it a plot hole, but definitely a blind spot.
It's just dialogue, like not thought through.
Yes.
Yeah, but
There was some stuff that was
maybe
not-
it is. Maybe that's the whole second fucking
Could be.
movie there. We don't even know. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing that like Marvel does these days is like every time the plot hole is like realized, they're like, well, watch us write us out of this right now.
Yeah.
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
So
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like there's a guy whose job it is just watch the previous movies and be like, make sure we like plug these holes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because fucking Taika did this, and this guy did that, and you
Yeah.
guys didn't talk about it. Now we have to justify that shit.
yeah, fucking fake salad 47722 said we fucked this up, so we gotta fix it. You know?
So we gotta make
Yeah.
sure that they got nothing to talk about in this new one. Which would, I mean, honestly, these cinematic universes are unprecedented. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a guy
I'm sure
whose
there
whole
has been.
job it is to make sure that.
I mean, there's
well,
like a-
Kevin
there's like a-
Feige does that.
Yeah, there is a like lore handler in any major franchise.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that person has to be consulted at some point and be like, that didn't happen that year, actually.
Yeah.
And this race is actually from this planet.
Yeah.
And, like, just kind of filling up those gaps that, like, a new director wouldn't necessarily know offhand, unless they're huge fans.
It's funny that like you're a director and you think you have like these actors and this plot that's all this stuff that you have to like keep straight in your mind, and then also you're like, I also have to make sure that like they speak the right language and that like that I don't say the wrong alien name or I don't let that slip, or like it's just funny to me to think about like this director has like, all right, here's what scenes we're going to film today, and also another booklet of just the lore to
Lore
make sure
Bible.
he keeps it straight.
Some dude's like standing off screen like, actually, like,
It's somebody's job.
yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. I was going to say I can't do that. I probably
You'd be the
couldn't,
most
but
hated
I would.
person on set, I bet.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
for sure.
That
Oh,
person's
man.
like, you can't do that. Like, why? Like, actually,
I
like,
mean, it's either it's been done before, but I mean, you can try to justify it. Talk to Kevin Feige. Talk to God.
talk to Justin Timberlake. Justified.
Yes, justified. So yeah, that's probably my and the runtime. I don't think it justifies the runtime.
I like the runtime. I just wish that they would fucking put in like at least a 5-minute pee break in some of these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I do, like that's the whole thing I like about these Disney Plus shows is like if you were to watch them, it's like a 6-hour movie, and I do appreciate content like that. But at least at home, I can press pause and go pee.
Sure.
With like there, I was like, "What's the right move?" And I don't want to fucking miss something. Like
Yeah.
Just like put in a 5-10 minute pee break if you're gonna make a 4-hour movie. That's totally fine for me.
I would love that. I would love for that, like, an hour and a half into the movie, it's like a real intermission.
Yeah,
Just get-
we need to bring back the intermission if we're gonna have 3-hour movies.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a thing for a long time. Like
Yeah.
bring it back. Like
It makes perfect sense.
yeah, like there's nothing wrong with a 3-4 hour movie. Just like let us get more popcorn
Yeah.
and pee.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
I mean, we all had to take turns
Yeah.
leaving the movie to peak.
And fill each other in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tried to, we all tried to pick a spot where it was like, it doesn't seem like much is going on. Which, again, doesn't really justify the runtime if you can watch the movie and be like, this seems like a lull. Let me break out of here for a couple minutes and then I'll come back.
I would disagree. Like if you didn't have to pee, you'd be like, well, I understand the exposition that was happening there. Like it was plot building, but because you had to pee so bad, you're like, I don't give a shit right now.
This
I
is
need to go
important.
pee. This is not my pee movie. Like, yeah.
Well, but I wonder if I didn't have to pee and then I was just watching the movie with a critical eye of like, what moments could I have peed in? Could I have found
There's a whole
bunch of them?
website about that. You know that?
No.
Yeah. It's like whenshouldipee.com or some shit
really?
like that. Yeah. That might not be the exact URL, but
Yeah.
I've seen that website and I have visited that website.
fun.
Yeah,
That's. I mean, they got it for pretty much everything, right?
yeah.
When do you see tits in a movie?
Jump scares.
When you see jump scares,
Jumpscares.com. Yeah.
does this dog die?
Yeah.
And you can look it up. Yeah, they have
the
that.
dog die.
Yeah.
Can I pet the dog in the video
Yeah.
game.com? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just collective American anxiety. That's all that is.
Tell me
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
gonna happen,
Yeah.
please.
Please,
Yeah.
God, I don't want to be
Ignore the
surprised.
Ukraine event. Can I pet the dog?
Can I pet the dog? That's all I want.
Very simple.
I don't want to be surprised by anything.
No.
Which is hilarious to me that somebody would look up at what point there's a jump scare in a horror movie, or if there is jump scares. It's like, come on, dude.
I looked at it out of curiosity just to see like what they would post on it.
Yeah.
And they do try to be kind of discreet about like not spoiling it, but also saying generally when it is in the movie. And they'll have actually like timestamps and be like, when this character enters this room, expect something.
Get ready.
Yeah. It doesn't say what.
Someone who has anxiety, that makes you more anxious. Like, oh shit, they're in the
It's
room.
happening.
It's
It's
happening.
Right. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh shit. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, you would think it would make it worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather not know.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess you wouldn't want to know anything about the movie at all going into it.
Yeah, that's probably
Because
the
even the
best way.
trailer is enough to make you feel like...
Says everyone who's watching this not having seen Batman.
Yeah. Right. Whoops. Sorry.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're in almost an hour, so...
Okay,
probably.
well, I mean, as you said, and as we talked about right after the movie, my biggest complaint is essentially most of GCPD just being really hammy.
Yeah.
But, again, it kind of folds
back.
into your complaint as well, which is just, there's some ham-fisted dialogue. Again, it didn't take me out of the movie as much as someone else that maybe didn't understand sort of the genre, but I was able to roll with it eventually.
Yeah.
But there was a moment there, not gonna lie, there was a moment there where I was like,
Yeah.
too much.
If this is gonna... Is this how this movie...
It's the Batman!
It's the Batman! Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It's the Batman!
But yeah, and that, and again, like we said, the allusion to potentially being another Joker story coming up next, I'm not super excited about that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Other than that, high recommendation for me.
2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like Batman, go see it.
Yeah.
Stupid. Thumbs up. All right.
Obi-Wan.
Yes, but before we do that, we have to talk about this beer. So,
Keeping it crispy.
cheers to this.
Cheers. Ah. Ooh. It's quite crispy.
Oh, yeah.
Nice rice lager, if you will. I don't know if there's a cold read on this.
There is not, but this is the Keeping It Crispy from Tactical Brewing. It is a rice
Can you read
lager.
the government warning as a cold read?
Government warning. 1. According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages. Period. That's all they say. That's the end of the...
Women should just not.
Damn it, I'm pregnant.
During pregnancy.
Isn't it International Women's Day today?
No, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You,
Oops.
whoops.
You missed it.
Yeah.
You missed it.
We need a woman here to keep track of the womanly lore.
Women's lore?
Women's lore. So that I know.
Just lore of every woman?
Just everything that women, just, you know, what they're getting into. What
Okay.
they're, you know, just keeping up with...
Marco's over here celebrating the patriarchy by celebrating Women's Day one day late.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Sorry.
Better late than never, I guess.
All right.
Same with women's rights, right? Better late than never.
Better late than never.
We're getting there, folks.
Anyways, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
Kenobi. I think we're just going to roll this baby right into a trailer trash.
Trailer trash!
So the Obi-Wan Kenobi, we finally get the first look. It's more of a long teaser than it is an actual trailer. Because, like, the trailers nowadays, I mean, they might as well be like, you know, first quarter of the show, honestly.
At least the first episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, it's a nice trailer, kind of get us into the world, kind of introduce some characters, the look and feel of it, and long awaited, long anticipated, finally get to see something, and not just Ewan McGregor talking about it on shows and shit. I feel like he's been talking about it forever, man.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him on
2016.
is when he started talking about
I
it.
feel like it,
I
right?
remember
Yeah.
that. Like there was
Yeah.
speculation for years that this
Yeah.
was going to happen.
Yeah,
It's been the
well,
worst forever.
he's been having to do the Tom Holland thing where he has to like lie about like who's in the movie or if he's even I guess I should say Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield thing where like
Sure.
every time they get talked about it, or every time they do a movie,
It gets brought up.
and they have to be like, I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Or
You
no,
know,
no.
one's-
I love the character. I love playing him.
yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Which is a good way to lie
Sure.
about it. Which is like, I hope that they approach me.
Yeah.
I would love to do
No
something
one's
like
talked to
that,
me
but
yet,
I
Yeah.
don't
you
know what's
You know
going
who's doing that right now? Sam Jackson. So it's only a matter of time.
on. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
He is.
Yeah.
He's been talking it up a lot.
Yeah, he's like, haven't been approached, but love to do some Star Wars stuff again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, buddy,
They're
yeah.
bringing him
Wink.
back. Maybe that's the new way you start sussing out what is and isn't going on.
Yeah.
How much do they love the character? They
Yeah.
Yeah. I
How
love
much disdain do they have for
it.
the character?
It was a life-changing experience. Okay, buddy. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
all right. That sounds like he's back.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I don't know. First impressions of the trailer, gentlemen.
I'm in. It had all the things of that I liked about Rebels, or disliked about Rebels. Also, like brought back into live action canon, like spinning lightsabers. Like, okay, I thought that was super dumb, but here it is. It's back, and you know what? Like, I'm here for it. Like, let's make it happen.
It's a thing.
If I don't see someone like floating with their like as a helicopter with their spinning lightsaber like they did in Rebels, though,
Yes.
I'm gonna be quite upset because that's a canon thing apparently, and like let's just make it happen, bro. Like let's just lean into it.
How fast do those things have to be spinning for that to lift?
Well, it needs to
I
be
mean-
like a wing shape.
Well,
Right.
Not
Yeah,
only
it's
that, it's
lift
like
you.
I feel like lightsabers are kind of stupid to begin with.
Sure.
It's like we're talking about like space. I mean, wizards in space with
Laser
magic. Yeah, laser swords and magic. Like, those things don't have any lift on them. Like,
No,
right? Yeah,
of course
like,
not.
They can't.
They just fall
just-
to your death. Right?
Yes.
But here we are. Like,
Makes sense in headcanon.
Let's just make it happen. Like, it's
Sure.
so dumb.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's also dumb.
Yeah, I think it's important for me to say I'm not as up to date as you guys are with all of the Star Wars animated series.
Anyway, just look. This
I'm
way.
sorry. I will excuse myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say I know of the Inquisitors through Jedi Fallen Order.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
So I know of
That's a bad way to be, but okay. I mean, that
bad
game is
way to be.
That game is great. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
like the even Rebels doesn't
That's a
really
bad way to be.
touch on the Inquisitors well enough.
Uh-huh.
The legends, as they call them these days, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that has some better things, but.
Like in books.
Yeah,
The
but
novels.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Here's the thing: like, I didn't read any books. I went on a Wikipedia one day and I was like, "That's cool. That's cool." I'm
Yeah.
sure that was a cool story.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, I just scrolled through and read. Like,
That's what
yeah,
you gotta do.
yeah.
well,
yeah,
I
like-
have the Timothy Zahn books and I plan
Yeah.
on reading them. I haven't read them yet. But
And if you don't, just look up a Wikipedia
Sure.
article. Like, just catch up.
Go on the
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Wookiee.
Wookiee. There you go. Yeah, Wookiee.
Yeah.
yeah.
all
But
that good shit.
that's the place I'm coming from. I've seen all the movies. I've seen all the newer Disney shows. But haven't watched any of the animated for the most part.
Yeah.
And I've played Fallen Order. As well as
Great game.
all the games we grew up with. So
Yeah.
even though those aren't canon anymore, but
Yeah.
So
I feel like you're in a good spot because like Marco and I have the backstory, which is cool and it is exciting. But for you get that like, what the fuck was that? Let me go find out kind of
Exactly.
a moment, which we don't have.
Yeah.
It's a different experience, which is also can be a cool experience.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already kind of felt that from time to time just watching what I have. So I'm excited to get into the animated series
Cereses.
at some point, but haven't gotten there yet. But that being said, the series looks incredible.
It's gonna be fun when they bring Darth Maul in and everyone goes, "I thought he died."
Yeah. Well,
Like,
do you like? I know enough to know that he is still alive, obviously, but
Well, at least in that time period.
yeah.
I hope they don't bring him in, because I feel. Sorry, not to step over of what you were just saying, but like, man, that would diminish the meeting of him and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul at the end of Rebels by a lot.
Yeah.
It would have to. There would have to be just such a justification that I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
That they would have to write.
Yeah, and
For that to make sense.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
That I hope they just leave it alone.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And there are even people talking about that same thing with even Vader. You know, because he's gonna be in the show, so it's like, what's that interaction gonna be like? And it's gonna cheapen, you know.
Yeah, exactly. When they see each other in New Hope,
right,
for the first time in what has to be years. But some people are saying that they're kind of retconning how they see each other in the New Hope, and I guess like some of the things that they say to each other, they're going to try to retcon it in a way that like it makes sense that they would have had these interactions while he was on
plugging their own holes.
Yeah. And I feel less bad about that because enough time has passed. Like you know, the way that movie was filmed in a lot of things, just like so slow and sloggy. Like it felt like, you know. I feel like they have an easy way to write that, where there's like, this was like a formality kind of situation where, you know, they've had their duel, like they could easily write that, like they had their rematch. Now this is kind of like, I'm just buying time because these sons of bitches over here are going to save the world,
right? Yeah.
And I'm just kind of throwing myself in the line of fire to make that happen. Whereas the Darth Maul thing, like, was such a cap off of that meeting in Final Death, if you watch that actual episode, that it wouldn't make sense to bring Darth Maul back, but it almost does justify bringing Vader back, in the sense of, like, you know, the bigger picture of what was happening with the rebellion movement in Star Wars. So could be taken lots of ways for sure.
Yeah. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, we get sort of introduced in this trailer to a lot of
side characters. From Rebels, there's a ton of characters.
A lot of Rebel stuff. Like a lot of Rebel stuff.
Yeah. Grand Inquisitor, who does look a little weird, but, you know, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. Like, he doesn't look as menacing. I feel like he looks a little goofy, but, you know, I can buy into it a little bit. You know, I'm sure it'll build as the episode progresses. There was a couple other Inquisitors that they brought back from Rebels / maybe the Fallen Order.
Yeah. No, I think they're all Rebels.
They're all Rebels. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
From what I saw, it looked like they were all.
I mean, we just watched this, so like. Yeah.
Like, was that homegirl from Battlefront? Who steps off the it's a
Are you talking about
Shiva Kamini
Janina, I forget her
Shiva
last name.
Kamini Samakanda.
No, her real name.
Sorry.
I don't know if it is. It could be.
I thought it was.
There was rumor that she was going to be in a live action thing.
It was a flash of her coming off that ship, and it looked like her, but also I may be stereotyping a vaguely Indian looking. Is this a
Battlefront 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
wasn't that supposed to take place like quite a few years after?
I don't. Yes.
There is a time jump in it too.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I mean, that would be dope if.
I didn't finish the story really in Battlefront.
Tying that together, because like at that point, like how long before they bring that the same actor that played Cal Kestis into.
Yeah,
because like he's of age. He's still young, looks young and sprightly. Like, and you know, honestly, that could have been the move the entire time. Like that's the reason they hired a big name actor to play that person. So,
yes, and the fact that they, instead of having him just be the voice actor, have him be the likeness. Very easily could have justified. Like they just did it on purpose so that later on they can bring him into stuff.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to look like that.
No.
In fact, I didn't like that. I wasn't a fan of him just looking like the
Dude,
actor.
you could have had an arm grown out of his head for like
But Starkiller actually looks like the voice actor too. I didn't know this until I looked it up, but he just looks.
It's not canon
just
anymore, bro.
I know. I hate
man.
that.
If they bring that into canon, though, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah.
I'd be like, nah, like no way.
Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. That guy's a little too old now, though.
Even if it's a different person, man, like they just leaned into Force Awakens kind of thing, like.
Yeah, but then see the problem with that is now they have to start acknowledging that there's like these super powerful like gray Jedis and stuff where they're like.
Is that not necessarily where they're going though? I feel like that's where they're going.
Yeah, maybe. I guess.
To be.
Yeah.
It really seems like even with the Last Jedi, with like the way that Luke spoke, and then like the newest Book of Boba with the whole Grogu kind of thing. Like, it really seems like they're like the Jedi Order is not the answer. It's there's somewhere in between where you can have emotions about things.
They're getting rid of formality.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shout out to Ryan Johnson and what he tried to do.
What he tried to do.
Knives Out's great.
Yeah. You know it's going to be hilarious when we a conversation 10 years from now when we look back and we're like, man, Ryan Johnson's movie was like the best movie. We just didn't realize it at the time. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
We're too blindsided. They plugged too many holes. Too many things happened. Yeah.
Yep.
Quick aside, the actress name's Janina Gavankar. She's not. There's no
IMDb for her being in it.
There's nothing I'm finding right now.
Okay, so I was just being.
That's because they scrubbed it.
Yeah. Could be the power of Disney.
I could see that.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she's. If they have to start doing like at some point these shows have to get past, like they have to, like we can't just keep dancing around this same like 10 to 15 year time frame.
And Tatooine.
You know what I mean? Like we just Tatooine. We have to get off of Tatooine. We have to.
That's what I'm excited about. The what is it? The Acolyte that's coming out. It's like supposed to be like pre-Palpatine, like at the end of the High Republic.
Yeah,
that show is like finishing up development right now.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out of this time frame. Yeah, like we have to get out of this time frame.
Yeah.
I want personally like the Star Wars, like Lord of the Rings, like Star Wars were, because like some of the books and like even. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like games like went like back like thousands of years ago. Like give me that shit. Like like back when like lightsabers weren't like as elegant as they are, in the time frame that we are currently operating in, where maybe they're like huge swords that are crackling and fucking like almost uncontained, and like it's like Lord of the Rings fantasy kind of like style, Star Wars kind of things. The universe isn't figured out. Coruscant isn't like the universe capital,
right?
Or the galaxy capital. Like it's everyone's shucking and jiving, trying to find their piece in the galaxy. Like that's what I want, man. Like.
Yeah, there's a wealth of like lore and it seems like they conveniently pluck things from non-canon legend stuff when they deem it necessary.
Oh, they 100% do.
So it's not. That's not to say that any of that stuff couldn't just become canon when they feel like just grabbing it.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like the idea. Like I wasn't. Everybody got all upset. They're like, oh, these books, they're non-canon now.
I do get the argument that it's like these book writers who wrote these things aren't getting paid for when it gets plucked out of the universe.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that sucks.
And I understand that. Like that needs to be shored up. Yeah. If you're gonna do that, like let's pay some dues. But that's not to say that it can't be done. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just like, I don't know. Like, I'd pay an extra $1 a movie ticket to make sure these writers of these old books where things got like, you know, like streamlined from. Like, sure, like
Yeah.
let's
Whoa. Paying what now?
an extra $1. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's a lot.
All right, man.
Asking for a
You
lot.
keep your extra $1.
Just asking a lot. They just raised the price of Netflix again.
Yeah.
Brandon's
When they raise $1 Spotify, I'll be like, well, you take my shares away from Marco Dupa's album streams
and just allocate it.
Yeah.
Take my 0.1 of a penny.
Yeah, exactly. Have it, dude. Have it.
That's
Although I do
that's all the shit I'm talking about. It's like
I
all
knowingly
these
get
people
more
are
streams
fucking
on
making
there.
too much money off of Spotify's making too much money off of not you, but like I understand, like not you, but like you, like and like you know these book writers and et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
Like,
they are making
it's
money
like,
off of my music.
It's like
Bastards.
the people who are making the art aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
It's the studios and the actors and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because they own the property.
Exactly. It's a fucked up situation.
Yeah, imagine
It-
being
it-
like the star of the show, and then you're like,
It-
I'm the executive producer, and now
I'm-
you're getting paid.
Here's the streamline of that. It's like in the brewing industry, since this is kind of a beer podcast, it's like
That's what we
The-
call it, the beer podcast.
the brewers and assistant brewers don't make as much sometimes, depending on how the algorithm shakes out, as much as the bartenders who serve the beers because of tips and you know wages and whatnot. And it's the same thing that happens in kitchens, whereas like the kitchen cook is standing in front of a hot flame all night, and you know the server goes, "Here's your food," and makes $25 an hour. You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah, I've been that guy.
yeah.
Just sweating my ass off, just watching him. And then I worked at a place where only one girl, there was multiple servers, and she was the only one who came back and was like split tips with. She didn't like split tips. She would like, you know, dish $1 to every one of us every now and then.
Yeah.
And I was just like, thank you, sir, because I didn't understand. It was my first job like that,
Yeah.
making money off of tips and stuff. So I didn't understand like she was just giving me $1 off of her tips. Like she didn't have to do that. So I was just looking around like, are we gonna get more of these
Yeah.
and like nobody else did it.
Yeah.
So
It's super fucked, man. It's the restaurant, brewing. I mean, all these industries that work off tips. It's not just those. It's like it's got to change.
yeah.
Yeah, and it even feeds back into the arts. Like you know, it's like people who write the writers don't get paid as much as the actors and
Sure.
actresses and shit like that. Like I don't have the answers. I just see the disparity, and things have got to change.
Well, you have the answers.
Yeah.
Just pay them more.
Yeah. Well,
It doesn't make sense that the actor gets paid $30 million to do the movie because they negotiated it in their contract, and the guy who wrote the words that the actor says
sure,
gets paid
sure.
a fraction of that.
But at the same time, it's like that amount of money is inconceivable. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a lot of fucking money. But
Yeah.
at the same time, they were like, cry on command. I'll be like, I can't do that, man. And then if you were to ask, homeboy Brad to cry on command, that would never happen.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that movie's not getting made.
We
Yeah.
we couldn't
Get
Yeah,
some
we-
magazine.
yeah, exactly.
we couldn't get real tears out of him, let alone fake ones.
Fakes.
Yeah.
I will say though,
His eyes were so dry, they sucked up the real fake tears, too.
they're
He was
just
like, my eyes,
hydrated now.
my eyes have never been this wet.
They're not red anymore. It's great.
So,
I will say though, historically, writers don't get paid.
yeah, they do not
Period.
get paid. Yeah,
I know that as a writer.
Yeah.
Loser.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right? Did I mention it's very hard to buy a car right now? They don't get paid. They don't get represented, and that's why it's the lack of representation. Because on top of that, everyone. So for instance, in my industry, in advertising, something like coding is very niche and like.
Dude, that's writing too. Like at the end of the
Sure,
day.
no, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from that, but I'm saying, if you ask like CEO Joe Blow, who needs somebody to code their website, you ask them, "Do you think you can code your own website?" They're gonna say, "No, I have no idea." If you ask them, "Do you think you can write your website?" They'll say, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." Because they think they can.
Yeah.
But they can't. Not well, at least.
Yeah.
So the idea of, well, I have a pen and pad, I can write, right?
Right.
That alone makes it seem like, again, it's not something that you have to cry on command for. It's not like this talent that's that sort of obvious and on the level like that. So that leads to more people just going, I'll write it on my own.
Right.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Or this can't be possibly that hard or that complicated to do. So I'll pay them, minimum.
Yeah.
And just see where it shakes out. So, in my experience, that's why writers tend to get sort of the short end of any stick.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that way, man.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It should. And most companies that are worth their cost know that, and they pay correctly. But
Yeah.
it's something that you have to kind of fight against as a writer.
It's hard, I
Yeah,
think.
it's I will say I feel like things are on the cusp of changing, and like I said, I don't necessarily myself have all the answers, but having spoken with lots of people, not necessarily like writers, but like at least in the back end of the restaurant industry, things are changing, and hopefully, things start to be a little more evenly matched.
Yeah.
Like a little more widespread. Like, I feel like I'll get a lot of flack for saying like servers shouldn't get $25 an hour, but that's not necessarily the case. Maybe we should all get $25 an hour,
Sure.
but maybe a more even spread of the income ratio is definitely due.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Just pay us more.
Yeah.
Just pay everybody more.
Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. He should get paid more too. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Trash or no trash?
Yeah. Not trash.
Not trash.
Not trash.
Yeah. Nice.
Ni-
Okay.
Nice juxtaposition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Hello there.
All right. Last but certainly not least, Adam, I'll let you take the floor on this one. You see,
Hey, I got a question.
This.
I got a question, okay? Are there...
I got a follow-up question
Okay.
when you're ready. You let me know when you're ready.
Okay. All right. First off, this question that's been ravaging the internet recently. Are there more wheels or doors
In the world.
in the world?
I mean,
Tell me your answer and tell me why.
I think there just has to be more doors. I mean, more wheels. There just has
There
to.
has to be more wheels, man.
I mean, they made like what?
Give me your reasoning.
Wheels were created like 1 million years ago, right?
Do you think they're like just fossilized wheels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
And
has
I
to
think there's like wheels in junkyards that you're not thinking of, but there's probably also doors in junkyards. There's the
Here's my stance. I went back and forth in my mind about this. 'Cause at first I was an all-wheeler. But I've converted to being a doorman, personally. And I'll tell you
All right.
I'll tell you why.
Lay it on me.
So my first logical thought here is like, there's so many cars, right?
Yeah.
Cars are the first thing I think of when I think wheels.
Uh-huh.
4 wheels right there. Every single car. Motorcycles, 2 wheels, etc. Vehicles.
Vehicles.
Yeah,
Vehicles.
wheels. They have wheels. Bikes, scooters, all those have wheels, right?
Yep.
Tons of wheels. But for every car that has 4 wheels, there's generally 4 doors. There could be 2.
Yeah.
Could be 3, So that kind of, in my mind, canceled itself out. All right?
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I'll put it this way: like, homeless people typically own more wheels than doors.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is something that I didn't consider.
4 wheels on shopping carts.
Shopping carts, yeah.
Yep. and bicycles.
Bikes, yeah, of course. Scooters.
I've never seen a doored bicycle, but that's not to say they don't exist.
Somebody's, yeah. But the
Some
first
dude carrying a door.
it's closed. The first thing that came to mind, though, as far as how many doors there are, is if you look at any skyscraper and think of how many skyscrapers there are, how tall we can build things.
But you're also not thinking of like the open door policy.
It's still a door if it's open.
But there doesn't have to be. There doesn't have to be a door. They're like open door, meaning no door on the hinges. There's not even hinges.
That's just a hallway.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. But
Well,
I mean,
how many doors are in this apartment alone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
hey, cabinet
All right.
doors too.
Are those doors?
okay.
That's
Sure.
cheating.
That's cheating.
They're not doors. They're on hinges.
No, that's a cabinet, bro.
All right, I'll take the fine.
All right, we'll leave it up to the fucking crowd here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is a cabinet
If you think
door
a cabinet,
door?
yeah, I'll let you pose the question.
Yeah. You think a cabinet's opening is a door? Lay it down in the comments.
Yeah.
So that's my thought process.
Yeah. So, but you have to think. Okay. Yes, there are all these buildings taking up space that have all these doors.
Let's back it up real quick. Let's back it up. You work for home, yeah? Yes.
Yeah. Well, partially.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you used to work in an office, yeah?
Yeah.
So you used to have more doors accessible to you than wheels.
Sure. I think that's accurate.
You work at a bar with me. You have probably more doors. Like, think about it. Accessible to you than wheels, right?
Right. Yeah.
More door.
Now that I'm thinking about it, there's probably more doors in my life.
I think we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Like, if you think about it, like, in my daily life, like, yeah, there's the bathroom door, the fucking bedroom, the bedroom door, the fucking, the door.
Closet door.
Yeah, the
door
doors on my vehicle. Then I get to work, and there's more doors.
The doors, the band.
Yeah, the doors on
Yeah.
on cassette.
I feel like I'm dealing with quite a few less wheels than doors, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's in your own personal life.
Yeah, but now extrapolate that, right?
Yeah.
It's probably quite a bit exponential. I feel like maybe you get so rich that you aren't dealing with doors anymore. Like, doors are just open for you. But, like, for all us poor people, we're just dealing with doors in front of our
doors
faces.
all day, every day.
Yeah.
But, okay, so my counterpoint to that would be I'm pretty obviously a wheels guy, I think.
Well, I consider myself a bit of a wheels guy.
I'm a wheels guy. I'm a wheelman, if you will. There's a lot of, like, sure, there's continuous building of buildings. Sure.
How eloquent. You're a true poet.
Oh, my God.
Stop rapping.
Yeah, I think I've said every word that I'm going to say ever. But there's an assembly line of tires and wheels being made at like a constant rate. There's not buildings just being like pushed out of a factory. There's tires being made constantly.
They're making the doors in the factory. Like, stop making wheels, man! We got too many doors.
But do you see what I'm saying?
They're
Like
making doors too, though.
But what I'm saying is, like, once you have a house, you don't add more doors to the house. Like, there's
Or do you?
You could if you want.
Yeah, I guess you could, but at some point, like,
You run out of doors.
Well, there's a finite amount of doors.
What was the magician that like had doors that led to nowhere? Like, that guy was adding doors all over the place.
Yeah,
You didn't see him adding
His
wheels.
whole
Yeah,
hallway
it wasn't
was-
like wheels all over the place. It was just doors.
But what I'm saying is, you would get to a finite amount of doors in a house or in a building. Once that building is built, for the most part, unless you renovate, for the most part,
Sure.
you have your doors.
Right.
That's
Wheels.
it, right?
Yeah.
But the wheels, they're like cars are being made at like an almost constant rate, and then not just cars,
So are doors,
motorcycles, bikes.
I'm about to call in my friend right now and be like, how
I mean,
many doors did you install the other day?
There's wheels on the bottom of this little thing that he moves.
Well, if we start counting these wheels, right, we got to start counting cabinet doors.
No, we don't. Those are
Thank you.
actual movable
Thank you.
wheels.
Well, these are casters.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Now we're getting into specifics.
So yeah, no.
We can't count the cabinet doors, but we got to start counting casters.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of
It's a
doors.
slippery slope.
That's a lot of nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. No, I still think
come to the door, son.
I still think there's more wheels. I think there's an aspect of wheels that we're not even thinking about.
Here's what I think. I can see both sides of the argument, but I think it is probably so close.
Yeah,
Like
It's gotta be
we
close.
can't even fathom. Like it's probably. Could you imagine? Like I have to. It's probably within like the thousands. Like it's that close.
Yeah.
yeah. The disparity. is
Yeah.
good.
The disparity is like so close.
Yeah. It.
So anyway,
I'm still going wheels.
you vote if you think there's more doors or wheels. There'll be a poll in the comments.
Yeah.
That
We'll
I
put a
don't
TikTok up.
that I don't need to take care of. These guys will.
Yeah.
These guys will make.
Didn't you have a counter question?
Yeah. Do you think there's enough door stops to keep up with all the doors?
No, not nearly enough.
No, not nearly enough.
No.
No.
Definitely.
There should be. There should be.
I wish there were.
Yeah.
Every time they make a door, there should be
It should
another.
come with a stop.
Yeah, it should
There
come-
should be. If not, it will continue. The door will keep going
Yeah,
forever.
the door will never stop. It's just can just go.
You said stops with those doors, right?
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
How are we ever gonna stop this door?
This door's unstoppable.
Yeah. So I feel like that's some shit Kanye West said in a song.
Yeah.
This door's unstoppable.
Door unstoppable.
One man must stop a door. No, we don't even have good enough door stops, man. We have so many doors, and we can't even get one good door stop.
we can't even stop one door, man.
No,
It's game over. You know,
think about it.
we
Those,
fucked up.
if those doors became,
We got to go
sentient-
back in time and create a door stop for every door.
It's like
Yeah.
Terminator.
yeah.
The doors are going to become sentient.
Judgment Day.
All the doors,
Just
all,
doors.
all the doors open at once.
Just a door with a machine gun, just mowing down people.
Stop
Shit.
this.
Yeah. So the world may never
The
know.
world may never know.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, it's so funny what will grab hold of the collective.
Yes.
Yeah, like everyone's just like, that's the thing that we're gonna focus on today is
Doors and door stops.
doors and door stops. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Now I have to think about that.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna bring this up all the time now.
Please do.
Yeah.
I need some closure on this. 'cause I'm
There's
thinking
no
about it a
closure.
lot.
I want you to know that right now.
Because there's no door stops. So
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
can't be
yeah,
closure
yeah,
on
There's
this.
no
A
closure.
There-
door without a door stop.
There's no stoppage.
Or I guess
Have this
there's only
conversation.
closure.
There's only
Yeah,
closure
yeah.
without a door stop. I
Yeah.
should say,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Or is there? Spinning around.
All right. I think we got it right. Anything else that we want to talk about before we review these beers?
Your haircut?
We talked about it
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
we
show.
did. We did.
Oh, it's fucked up. But anyways.
We need a. I think we need a cheers of the week. my friend.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
What did I say earlier?
Did you forget?
No, I have one, but
You got one? Yeah. Lay it on us.
I'll go last.
Come on.
You go first. I'm a guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my cheers of the week is going to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Cheers.
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 I bring that up because at the Nintendo, excuse me, the PlayStation State of Play today, they unveiled that there's going to be a classic collection of the beat 'em ups and the fighting games of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Oh shit.
that we all grew up loving. So it got my head in the TMNT zeitgeist. And
I could go for pizza.
yeah, pizza time.
It's pizza time.
I remember when
The power.
when the Turtles ruled the world,
Yeah.
and it was a very sweet time.
Yeah.
Man, they tried to remake that series a few times now.
Oh,
huh?
tons.
Yeah. It hasn't landed. I feel like
No.
the '90s version's still the
That's
best.
great. A lot of people like TMNT, like
Yeah.
the 3D animated ones.
Are we talking about the TV show?
The TV show, yeah, a lot of people like that one. Some people like the Michael Bay movies.
They fucking
Those movies
Yeah,
suck.
I don't.
Dick.
I
Yeah.
don't.
I hate that shit.
But apparently, there's going to be a new.
Not
movie.
even Megan Fox being hot could
Yeah,
save
no,
those movies. Yeah.
no.
Well, it wasn't even like, everyone, the people complained about like how they looked and stuff, and it wasn't that. It's just the movie sucked.
Yeah, Megan
It
Fox
wasn't
wasn't
what how
hot
they
enough.
looked.
Megan Fox wasn't hot enough.
It's her fault.
Fox wasn't hot enough.
Yeah. So they're making a new one. Seth Rogen is involved apparently.
Could be better. We'll see.
Yeah.
Could be
so-
worse.
Sure.
Could you imagine?
Definitely
Oh, it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
worse.
Yeah,
It's been worse.
we can
No,
imagine. It has been worse.
That's what I'm saying. Could you imagine it getting worse from now?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
getting worse than yeah.
That's like them
Not
making
much.
that's like them making a Minecraft movie,
Yeah.
which apparently is coming. So buckle in, fellas.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, dude, they're at a point where they'll just make a movie out of anything at this point.
I'm coming back
What?
on for the Minecraft movie so we can shit all
Please.
over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do like a full one reel in.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the point of what could possibly?
I don't
be
know.
the
We're
plot?
gonna go watch it
Or
and
like-
then
like a
we're gonna
Tetris
shit
movie.
all over it.
Or what?
Or like a Tetris movie. You know.
Yeah.
They were talking about. I mean, they did the Battleship.
Battleship,
movie.
yeah, which had nothing to do with
No.
battleships.
No.
Dude, that
Oh.
movie was ridiculous.
That's Rihanna. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I was just waiting for them the whole time to be like, "You sunk my
sunk my
battleship."
battleship.
Like, why didn't they do that?
How
like,
could they not?
Yeah.
They had no awareness.
Like
Zero
that,
awareness.
yeah. They were like, "We need to make this movie too serious." Like,
Yeah.
No, some guy wrote a movie, and then they were like, "How many battleships are in this?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, there's, a couple." And they were
Figure
like,
a few.
"Hey, hear me out."
How many get sunk? How many are you sinking?
It was like, my movie's about like aliens and stuff, and they're like, "That's not important."
Listen, we just bought Mattel.
Yeah.
We gotta fucking sell this thing. We got Rihanna
Could you
attached.
imagine if they put pegs in all the ships as they went
Just
along?
giant pegs. Anywhere.
Anyways, my turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Cheers to overstimulated prostates, man.
Yeah. Are you gonna elaborate on that?
It's nice to come.
Amen. Can't complain about that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's. I feel like I should change mine. It's
Set you
No,
up
you
real
keep
well,
it.
right? Yeah.
You keep
Yeah,
it.
You
sit
keep
in
it.
I can't, and like mine's dark now.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you got to do it.
It's
do it.
way darker.
You know,
fine,
that's
it's fine.
it's all good.
All right, my cheers of the week is going to Bo.
God damn it! I knew you were gonna do it.
Yeah. Cheers the bow, man.
Cheers to Bo. God, cheers to
My
Bo.
beer is empty, but I'll drink anyways.
I never properly eulogized him
No.
because it happened.
Happened between shows.
Yeah, it happened the day after we recorded.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't really talk about it much on the show.
And a
Save
little
for
bit.
like, yeah.
The
I just,
show that we did at your place, you talked about him not feeling well, and
well, yeah, that was the point of doing it at my
Right.
place was
Right.
because I was keeping an eye on him.
yeah.
So old dog's gonna old dog, and he old dogged all the way out of here, and not gonna go down the details of what happened and whatnot, but we did have to say goodbye to the old man. He was on the Instagram a lot. We used his
Yeah.
picture for like
Whenever we fucked up.
yeah,
He was there.
He was our old bait and switch for people. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you can't hate us. Look at the
Sorry.
dog that we posted.
Look at him.
This is just a cute dog that we
Yes.
posted. So, I just wanted to cheers to him. I can't talk too much about it because I'll start crying. But
Understandable.
I mean, let it out. I'll hug you. We'll hit the stop on the camera.
If you can do it on command, you can be an
Yeah,
actor.
yeah,
I think honestly, I mean, they say that like a lot of actors will just think about like something that happened in their
Sure.
life that was like super sad. And I think I could now cry
Yeah.
on command.
Now I feel like Brad because I feel like I could not cry on command.
No,
Yeah. There's nothing in my life I could think of.
you can think of something. I think
Nah,
nothing.
nothing. Maybe Bo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe both.
take-
We all just
take
think about that.
Yeah.
So he was an incredible dog. You know,
Good roommate.
yeah. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that he was properly sent off, I guess. So cheers to Bo Biggins. I love him. And I miss him.
We love him.
We love him.
Amen.
Cheers.
Yum, yum, yum.
All right. So we just went through 2 very nice beers. Let's start with the Jester King, because that was obviously the first one that we did. Let's roll back to that one.
Sure.
And you know how the bottle caps work, right? The
Sort
rating
of.
system.
Sort of. It's like 9.5 out of bottle caps out of
Yeah.
It's real dumb.
7 or
yeah.
some shit like
It's,
that.
it's complicated. It's
Yeah.
no, it's 6 bottle caps.
To represent a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So instead of 5 stars, 6 bottles.
Rest in peace, 6-packs.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. It's the last time you seen just a regular old 6-pack.
Yeah.
Today, actually. But anyways.
Really?
Bigfoot? Apparently, Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, which used to be sold, I feel like, by the bottle, is in 6-packs now.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw Mickey's at Publix. I didn't know that they sold them at Publix.
You're speaking my language.
was gonna
Talk to
grab some
me.
and
Talk to
bring
me
them
dirty.
All right.
All right.
So, the Jester King Color 5 from their vintage collection.
2018.
2018. What's the ruling on that? How vintage is that? 2018?
I feel like
you wouldn't call anything else from 2018 vintage.
well, typically like even
It is
Red
4
Light
years,
or
though.
Brick Store Pub, and they can correct me if they're watching this. 2 years is typically vintage.
So it's
So-
more of a designation than it is like a.
Because like, most beers get like a 6-month code or less. So like by 2 years is definitely has changed towards the spectrum of what you would want to see out of a vintage beer. So 2018, I would call that vintage. Doesn't seem like it because 2018 seems like, man, we were just living our lives, and and here we are. We're like, man, we're still in this goddamn pandemic. Like, yeah, like, but yeah, 2018 technically would be vintage, even though it doesn't necessarily feel like it because it feels like fucking yesterday.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's
yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
Like on the dots from March of 2018. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
we're right here.
yeah.
Well, do you guys feel like the vintage, or I guess rather the aging process?
I feel like beer was very good. Would I, since I put the, well, hold on, you guys do me last because I bought it. So
I'll do you
Yeah.
first.
you guys go first.
Well, I kind of feel like you're alluding to the price.
A little bit, but don't let that deter your feelings about it. 'Cause
Well, okay, so but
my
the reason,
pocketbook opened, yours didn't. So yeah.
But see, that is something that we've talked about on this show
Yeah.
in
It
the
is
past.
consideration.
Yeah, we've made actually a pretty big deal about the fact that like you go out to the store and you buy something, or you go to a brewery and you buy it, and you're like, fuck. I mean, did this really justify the price?
Yeah.
Because like now, honestly, dude,
It's just expensive, man.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like
Everything
all of
is.
them are.
Everything is.
Well,
like-
everything is
yeah,
just in general.
Yeah, you
for
go
sure.
you go buy a salad mixer and you're like $5 for salad.
Like, what the
Like
fuck? This is
I
all
barely
leafy
like
greens.
this. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the beers especially. I mean, dog, I bought a 12-pack of Yingling today when we went to the beach, and like it was just a little bit more than I was expecting to spend, and I was just like,
Yingling should not be that because it's like overrated Budweiser. Excuse me, fucking Twitter world. Yeah, it's over fucking rated Budweiser. You guys can hit me in the comments that I'm not gonna read.
Getting flamed.
Yeah,
so yeah, I think that will obviously we didn't buy it, so it didn't hurt our pockets, and so it's kind of hard. And by the way, thank you
Yes,
very much.
thank you very much.
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so but knowing how much it costs, still kind of like take that into consideration. Like, would I, knowing that price, would I go to Jester King and buy that again?
It was-
Fuck no.
It was $40.
Yeah,
So-
even if
But-
$30, you said 75. That's all. That's
Did
a
I?
jump.
Yeah. You can check the timestamp.
$40.
I
way
was
more reasonable.
I may have been exaggerating just because I was angry about that beer when I sipped it, but yeah,
Still, $40 is a lot for that small bottle.
I spent a lot of money
We-
that day.
We got,
Yeah.
I mean, we got a good tasting out of it. It was enjoyable. I mean, as far as like the beer itself, the quality, the quality of it, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 5 out of 6. I thought it was great. I don't know what it tastes like, freshly made and whatnot. So I don't know how much the aging process like mellowed it or didn't mellow it or how much it changed it.
For sure.
But from what I tasted, I thought it was fantastic. I thought,
Yeah.
Very flavorful. I thought it was mellowed out. It was tart, but it wasn't like, like that back of the jaw kind of like, yeah. I mean, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I probably over exaggerated a little bit on the price. Just because, I remember the sticker shock, but it tells a better story that way,
Sure.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
it's
Like,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Story.
Don't
But,
let the truth ever get in the way of a good
but-
story.
That's right.
But it was an expensive bottle for sure. It was probably more around 40, 45, somewhere in there. Like, I didn't really look at it. I just remember the receipt coming back at me, and I was like, oh, God. What did I do to myself? Yeah. But, I feel like I would give that beer 5 out of 6. Like, it didn't blow my socks off in any way, but I would say it was very sufficient in like what the beer was doing. Like, it was well rounded, very well balanced, very fruit forward, wasn't overly acidic and sour. It wasn't, it didn't want me to. I feel like with some of these heavily fruited and sour beers, you kind of second guess or another sip. Like, you're just like, am I ready for this? Like, is it? It's like too sour. This wasn't that. Like, it wasn't overly sour. It was definitely fruit forward. It was definitely sour, but it wasn't overwhelming in any of the sense. So,
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I feel like, the key word we always talk about here is balance. That's the one thing that always gets us high ratings. I'm going to give it a 5 as well. I think that's really the key to this one. It's really well balanced. As someone who's not super, super into very tart, very sour beers, this one still, even though it was a bit more on the sour side, really was really pleasant. It was almost kind of like a natural blueberry flavor to me.
almost wine-like.
Yeah,
Right?
no, exactly, and very, very. It's a bit more complicated of a flavor, I'd say, that complex, if you will, but really pleasant all the way down. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. So 5 out of 6 for me.
Cool. Last but not least,
These crispy boys.
Keep it crispy.
Tactical Brewing, keeping it crispy.
Local.
Rice lager, 4.8% ABV. let's start this way and go back that way.
Oh wow!
Yeah, switching up for people.
First
I'm
off,
ready.
the art's pretty cool. I like the koi.
They always do a fantastic job with their labels and their
Yeah.
branding. Yeah.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
Very cool. So that's first things first.
I can't speak bad on Tactical. Like, love those guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
they don't fuck
You
around.
go first. You can trash on them if you want. I can't. I cannot.
Oh yeah, we're allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're local guys. We've had a couple of their beers on before. This one I think is really good. Very easy drinker. Had a good amount of flavor, not overpowering in any way. Would I go back for this one? Yeah, I think I would actually. Lower in the ABV, won't crush you over the head. I mean, I hate to say it again, but I think this one's around the 5 for me too.
Yeah, do it.
In a very different way. In a very different way. But simple. Simple.
Best question.
Sasquatch.
Simple. Very basic, but in a good way. I enjoyed it very much. 5 out of 6 for me.
I gotta go 4.5 out of 6 for me. It's not my favorite rice lager. I appreciate it for what it is. I think it is a well executed style. Love the branding. Love the dudes. It's not my favorite rice lager. It's crispy, and honestly, like, I could drink this day in and day out, but had better rice lagers.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like
valid.
I'm not trying to throw shade, but just had better rice lagers. I
Yeah.
guess So
Sure.
That's justified.
4.5's great.
Yeah.
That's justified. Yeah, 4.5 still a good score.
Yeah,
I'm also giving
absolutely.
it 4.5 because I thought it does everything it sets out to do.
exactly.
But it's not like a mind blowing, rice lager. But it's honestly, if we were like at Tactical,
Yeah.
I'd drink 1,000.
I would
of
drink.
these.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Same with the base lager. It's like every time I'm there, I'm like, I drink 100 of those. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I get. They can't pour them fast enough as I can drink them. So,
lager.
Lager.
So
but honestly, at the end of the day, it's like, what is a lager supposed to do? Like, it's supposed to fill your glass. It's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be a part of the situation, but it's not actually supposed to be there. So,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we got it. But I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, we got it.
Oh, we got it.
If he says we got it, then
We got it.
Then we got it. All right. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupla, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez,
Yeah, boy.
for our friend of the show, and now on the show, and we finally got to get it done. Yes. And definitely have you back on for some One Real In stuff. 'cause
Minecraft movie.
The Minecraft movie. Stephen Yonker, thank you for joining
Thank you.
us, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Drink delicious beer.
Stop by Red Light, drink some beer. Come say hi to us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tip your tenders.
Tip your tenders, and have a beautiful evening.